Can a player represent one nation internationally yet still bleed blue or maroon for state of origin? This allegiance dilemma, exemplified by stars like Payne Haas, sparks immense passion and potential heartbreak for players and fans alike, tearing rugby league apart. Beyond the raw emotion, this conflict scrutinizes the intricate eligibility rules and the substantial financial and strategic currents shaping the game. It challenges the very coexistence of international rugby league with its golden goose origin. We're diving deep into the foundations of these regulations, why they were established, and how proposed changes could dramatically reshape player pathways, team compositions, and the entire future of this beloved sport. So what makes a player eligible for state of origin? It sounds simple, but the reality is a tangled web of rules now trapping some of the game's biggest stars. Why is this becoming such a flashpoint now? Because the heart of what origin stands for is being questioned. To understand this, we need the basics of origin eligibility. It's not just about where you were born, it's about deep roots and decisions made before players even hit their teens. It's about where they genuinely developed their early rugby league identity. Enter Payne Haas, a dominant forward, a player who has worn the green and gold for Australia, the pinnacle for an Australian player. Now he's openly considering playing for Samoa to represent his father's heritage. This isn't just a player casually switching teams, it's a potential earthquake for Origin's identity. It makes people ask, what does Origin represent if its stars can play for other nations while still dominating the NRL? The rulebook details are specific and sometimes confusing. We'll show you. Key criteria include 1. Birth state. Were you born in New South Wales or Queensland? This is the most straightforward. 2. Father's origin. State. Did your father play state of origin for New South Wales or Queensland? This provides a direct link. 3. Residency and development. Pre-13. This is where it gets particularly detailed. Did you reside in New South Wales or Queensland for the majority of years between your 6th and 13th birthday inclusive? And did you play registered club rugby league in that same state for a majority of those years? Or did you complete a majority of your primary and secondary schooling, years K to 12, in that state? These clauses aim to identify a player's true development state. It's more complicated than you think. Then you have players like Victor Radley, Sydney-born, but a proud Englishman internationally. He chose England, his father's heritage, making him ineligible for New South Wales under current Tier 1 nation rules. He's happy with his choice, but it adds another layer to this already complicated picture. Contrast this with legends like Wayne Bennett. He argues that changing these rules, allowing players who've chosen other nations, dilutes what Origin is fundamentally about: genuine state rivalry between the best Australian committed talent. For Bennett, their primary allegiance should align with Origin. The debate intensifies with the growing number of players with Polynesian heritage in the NRL, a fantastic reflection of the game's diversity. Many face tough personal choices: honor their island heritage internationally or pursue Origin and Australian selection, often after developing within Australian systems from a young age. This isn't hypothetical, it's affecting player decisions and team selections. So the core rules hinge on where a player was born or resided and developed rugby league for a significant period before the age of 13, and their declared allegiance. Payoff 3. How do the current Origin eligibility rules actually work, and what specific criteria determine who can play? We've just broken down those key criteria. It's about birth, early residency and development, parental origin history, and critically, a player's first senior representative selection path. Choosing a Tier 1 nation like England or New Zealand makes them ineligible. The debate now is about Tier 2 nations, but knowing the rules is one thing, understanding the real impact is another. Let's look at what's truly at stake. Why would a top player earning well even consider stepping away from state of origin, the pinnacle, to play for an emerging nation, often for far less pay? You might say it's all passion. Is that the full story? Or is money a powerful current pulling players towards Origin? Let's follow that money. State of Origin isn't just a game, it's a financial giant. Player payments are massive. These figures often tower over their regular club game earnings. For 3 Origin games, the financial rewards are in a different league. This income offers a huge boost, providing real security. Now compare that to international jersey payments, especially for Tier 2 nations where many players have deep heritage ties. The difference, it is frankly staggering. This disparity creates a huge, almost irresistible pull factor towards Origin. It puts immense pressure on eligible players. Think about the numbers. Players can earn tens of thousands for one Origin match. We see figures like $30,000, even $50,000 plus bonuses. Then for representing their heritage in a test match, payment might be just a few thousand. Some have reportedly received as little as $1,000. This isn't a small gap, it's a chasm. This financial imbalance is a core point of contention. Many argue that if the international game was funded properly, players wouldn't face such a stark financial choice. They wouldn't have to weigh heritage so heavily against the economic realities of a short career. The system almost forces a financial decision. It's not just the match fees either. What about an athlete's brand? An Origin jersey massively boosts a player's profile. Source ID 167222704. They become Origin stars recognized across Australia. Millions watch their games on primetime television. This visibility translates directly into more lucrative endorsements. Research confirms Origin selection can significantly boost a player's profile, leading to lucrative endorsement and sponsorship deals. This is a hidden yet powerful financial incentive. It goes far beyond the direct match payment. It's a career-altering status. Their athlete brand equity, the commercial value of their name, skyrockets. Companies actively seek out these Origin players. This brand equity is what firms use to make endorsement decisions and offer prices. Players work to protect this equity, as it can mean income long after retirement. It is a true financial multiplier. So is it purely about the money, or is it passion? The truth is, it's often a complex mix of both. Players feel the deep pull of heritage, the pride of family roots, but they are also professionals with a limited time to maximize earnings. The current system, with its huge pay differential, forces incredibly difficult decisions. And what about the NRL itself? The organization has a massive, undeniable, vested interest in Origin's continued success. It's their golden goose. It's a revenue-generating machine that underpins much of the sport in Australia. So how does allowing star players to represent other nations potentially affect this vital revenue stream? If Origin's best versus best narrative is perceived to be diluted, does its unique appeal to fans and broadcasters diminish? Could it impact the massive broadcast deals or the lucrative sponsorships that are Origin's financial bedrock? These are serious multi-million-dollar questions for the game's administrators. They must protect their prime asset. The financial reality, when laid bare, is dark. Payoff 4. What's the shocking financial gap between Origin and international test match payments? Origin players can earn $30,000 to $50,000 per game, often significantly more with win bonuses. In stark contrast, international payments for some developing nations can be as low as $1,000 to $5,000 per test match. This financial pressure is undeniably a key driver in the eligibility debate, but it's not just about the cash in hand today or the immediate reward. There's an even bigger picture emerging here. A global shift in the rugby league landscape that the sport and Origin simply can't ignore. The rumblings in rugby league are getting louder. International Rugby League is showing serious growth, with nations like Samoa and Tonga now genuinely challenging the traditional top teams. These aren't just fleeting successes, they represent a significant shift in the global landscape of the sport. For years, International Rugby League largely operated under a tier system. This system, often viewed as a way to protect the top nations like Australia, New Zealand, and England, is now facing serious questions. When a team like Samoa makes a remarkable, hard-fought run to the World Cup final, as they recently did, it fundamentally challenges the idea that such a tiered structure accurately reflects the current state of play. Their performance, along with consistently strong showings from Tonga, has disrupted the old order, signaling that the system might indeed be outdated and not fit for the sport's expansive future. This changing landscape brings us to a fundamental and very tense question for the administrators and fans of rugby league. What should the main priority be? Is it to protect the undeniable strength and immense commercial success of Australian Rugby League, particularly its crown jewel, State of Origin? Or should the focus shift towards actively fostering the growth and development of the international game, making it more competitive and globally appealing? These two objectives increasingly seem to be in conflict, pulling the sport in different directions. Finding a balance is proving incredibly difficult. Consider the Payne Haas scenario once more, as it perfectly illustrates this tension. Payoff 2. What exactly happens when a player like Payne Haas considers switching to represent Samoa? If a player of Haas's caliber, someone who has already represented Australia and is a dominant origin force, chooses to play for his heritage nation like Samoa, the consequences are immediate and significant. Even if he were still eligible for origin under a revised rule set, the Australian Kangaroos would be directly impacted. Losing key players, especially in pivotal positions, can weaken the national squad's depth, experience, and overall firepower on the international stage. If several other origin-level players make similar decisions, the talent pool for the Kangaroos visibly shrinks, potentially diminishing Australia's traditional dominance in international tournaments. This raises critical questions about the future strength of the Australian team. Here's a surprising truth that adds another layer of complexity to this situation. Many of these talented Pacific Island stars are actually second or even third generation Australians. Source ID 1672273. They were born in Australia, grew up in Australian communities, and most critically came through the extensive Australian Rugby League development systems. They played their junior representative football in states like New South Wales or Queensland, benefiting from the coaching, facilities, and competitive pathways that Australia offers. This very system, designed to produce top-tier talent for Australian Rugby League, is now creating a unique paradox. This paradox is clear. The Australian system invests heavily in developing outstanding players who then might choose to represent another nation internationally, sometimes playing directly against Australia. Yet, under current discussions, these same players could potentially still feature in State of Origin, the pinnacle of domestic Australian Rugby League. This creates a complex interplay between a player's heritage, their national identity nurtured through development, and the eligibility rules governing both domestic and international fixtures. The concern among some traditionalists is very clear. If the rules are relaxed or stay in a way that allows this dual representation more broadly, we could see a future where a significant portion of players in a State of Origin game are also active representatives of other countries. What does that do to the very concept of origin? Origin has always been marketed and understood as a fierce state versus state battle featuring the best players eligible to represent Australia. If that definition blurs, does Origin lose some of its unique identity and meaning for the fans who cherish that specific rivalry? Despite these concerns about Origin's identity, many influential voices within the sport strongly believe that the future growth and expansion of rugby league as a whole truly lies on the international stage. As one commentator succinctly put it, "I think the future of the game and the growing of our game in the future is on the international stage. But for this international growth to be realized, it urgently needs two things: significant, sustained investment into developing nations and playing structures, and crucially, access for these nations to their best players, many of whom are currently enmeshed in the NRL and Origin systems. Without both, the international game may struggle to reach its full potential, so the current debate around Origin eligibility has become a genuine pressure cooker, simmering with competing interests and strong emotions. Payoff 1. Why are Origin eligibility rules causing such heated debate in rugby league right now? It's a perfect storm, a confluence of powerful factors all hitting at once. Players, increasingly empowered, wanting to honor their family heritage and connect with their cultural roots. The undeniable and exciting rise of Pacific nations as genuine rugby league forces, the immense financial allure and career-defining status of State of Origin, and a genuine, deeply felt fear, particularly within Australia, that the national team, the Kangaroos, could be significantly diminished. All this is happening while the international game is desperate to grow and capture a larger global audience. Rugby league finds itself at a critical crossroads, forced to confront how its biggest and most successful domestic product, State of Origin, impacts its wider global ambitions. What then is the way forward through this complex maze? The answer isn't simple. There are no easy fixes. Any decision made could fundamentally redefine rugby league as we know it, impacting everything from player pathways to the very identity of its showcase events. This Origin eligibility firestorm isn't just about which jersey a player wears. It is a battle for the very soul of rugby league. This forces a choice: cherished tradition or undeniable global evolution. The financial stakes for players, clubs, and the NRL are truly immense. Adding another layer of pressure, the big question remains: can rugby league find a path where State of Origin's incredible passion and financial power actually coexist with and even fuel a thriving international game? Or will one ultimately have to give way? What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Major overhaul for Origin rules or protect its identity? Subscribe for more.